Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about clean plates, how to set them up during production, and how to edit them in post. The two biggest problems people tend to run into are changes in lighting or the movement of the camera or objects within the frame. To avoid this issue, you can mark down where your equipment is placed using tape. At this point, you're ready to record your clean plate. Have your subject step out as you record a minute of your frame. Then have your subject sit back in, as well as placing any final pieces of equipment. Be mindful that your equipment should be placed where it doesn't overlap with the subject. Great. Now we can get into the edit. Obviously there'll be a few tweaks here and there, but for the most part, things should be pretty seamless. So going into your editing system, I like to use Premiere. I will grab my clean plate. I prefer to grab my clean plate first, and I will tell you why in a second. I grabbed it without the audio. You don't need the audio, obviously, for the clean plate. And then let's grab this piece, which has our lovely subject sitting in. I'll put that above. So the reason why I like to grab the clean plate first and have that on the track below the one with the subject in it is because when you're masking, I prefer to be able to see what I'm masking and take this out rather than trying to figure out, let's say I was doing it this way where I had one over the other, trying to figure out where he falls within the frame. I think this is just easier, but again, to each their own. As long as you're pulling out or masking with the one that's on top, that's the only important thing you need to know. Let's go into the effects control tab, grab the opacity mask. I have this here. I use the pen. Allows you to make all of these points here and really get specific about where you want it. Zoom out just slightly to go around, and it can be messy. It's really fine. I like to give enough space for my subject so that if they do end up moving a little bit, they're not going into the mask. There's no issue there. So let's take that out. And oops, I took out Christian. So let's go over here back into effect controls and invert it, and now he's back. So in my opinion, this mask looks pretty good. It's pretty seamless. If you notice that you're starting to get your objects back in, that probably means that your feather is probably feathered too much. So either bring it back down, or you can use the expansion, bring that up further, or you can individually mess with your points again just to get everything out. But I think I'm pretty good. So zooming in here, you can see that there's a slight difference between the two images. So you pull it out, you can see it's slightly different. I imagine that this has to do with the fact that when he's sitting in there, it changes the color slightly, not as in auto balance purpose, but like shadows and such that are now hitting the backdrop. The only issue I'm seeing now is that the colors are just slightly off. Let's see, I can show you here. If I move that, you can see that there's a difference there. So even though it's smooth, like a gradual transition, we still don't want them to be different. So let's jump into the color window, and you can see the histogram here. If you pull it out, it's very, very close. And we're looking at this side. Let's see, let's bring this out here. We're looking at this side of the image because this is where most of the difference is, or at least over here, because this is where he's sitting, right there. So you see it's very close, but it has just slight differences. So if you want to use the histogram, or I'm sorry, the lumetric scopes, that's totally fine, totally up to you. I like to just use my naked eye. So I'm going to grab that top clip. It doesn't matter which one you adjust, by the way. I'm choosing this one, and I'm going to slightly adjust. So too bright. That one looks pretty good, but I think now the color is off slightly. Might be a little too warm. So let's bring in the blue, and it's better. It's better. It's not going to be perfect because if you think about it, when he sits in front of the light, and now the light is passing through him, or rather obstructed by him to get to the backdrop, it's going to be a little bit of an issue, but we're going to do our best to make it work. Okay, now that I have it where I want it, what I'm going to do is nest the two clips because I want whatever I do to one to be done to the other. So let's just name it mask clip. I don't know, I couldn't think of anything on the spot. So So now we have the nested sequence. Let's just throw on a LUT just to be fun, and now it's doing it to both, but to the whole thing. And why that's good is because now you can make, you know, adjustments and it will just happen to the whole image versus just one clip or another. So that is it for the editing portion. Like I said, it's super simple as long as you set yourself up right during production. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please comment down below any more videos you'd like to see from us, and subscribe to Studio628 for more.